but your hotel is currently only half finished. Many supporting facilities are not yet complete. This doesn't meet our cooperation commitments. I took a deep breath, just about to state my backup plan. Shinemo smiled instead. But personally, I'm very optimistic about your future. So I've decided to take a gamble with you too. As he spoke, he pulled two documents from his briefcase. One was a hotel cooperation letter of intent. The other was a private angel investment agreement. Shinemo explained, "We can sign this letter of intent first. It represents the official stance of China Southern Airlines. It can help you fend off a lot of external pressure." Then he pushed the second document in front of me. "As for this investment agreement, this is my personal investment in your hotel under my wife's name. 1 million, to help you get through the current difficulties, to fully complete the hotel. I don't want your equity. Consider it a loan from me. Once your hotel turns a profit, just repay me the principal plus interest." I never dreamed he would support me in this way. My voice trembling, I asked, "But?" Chunemo took a sip of tea, his gaze distant as he said, "Because in you, I see my younger self. With nothing, yet daring to declare war on the whole world. Few young people like this remain. I don't want to see your dream strangled in the cradle by those dirty capitalists." My eyes welled up. I stood up and gave him a deep bow, then said, "Manager Chen, thank you. I Fu Qing swear here and now, I will never let your trust down." That afternoon, on the rooftop of my half-finished hotel, I signed that million-yuan agreement. The moment my pen touched the paper, I received a message from Su Wan. Ji Buchang had started a hostile takeover of our bank's stock on the secondary market. He wants to force me out. I stared at the message, then looked up into the distance. I knew the real battle had begun. Manager Chen's 1 million yuan private investment was like a shot of adrenaline into my nearly dried-up cash flow. But Su Wan's text hit me like a bucket of ice water poured over my head. I knew Su Wan had become a target, all because of me. I dialed Su Wan's number. The phone rang for a long time before she picked up. Her voice sounded unusually weary as she said, "Ah Ching, I'm in a meeting. Keep it brief." I hurriedly asked, "How are you?" "Is he?" Su Wan cut me off, her tone feigning lightness. "It's nothing. Just normal business moves in the market. Don't worry about me. I can handle it. You just focus on finishing your hotel. That's the biggest support you can give me. A man like Ji Buchang cares most about profit. As long as your project succeeds, proves my initial judgment was right, and those old fossils on the bank's board will have nothing to say." I knew she was trying to comfort me. Ji Buchang was using his massive capital to pressure the entire bank, aiming to force them to sacrifice Su Wan, the loan approver. I spoke softly into the phone. "Su Wan, I'm sorry." There was a moment of silence on the other end. Comforted him. "We are friends. I'm helping you not as an investment, but out of trust. Don't overthink it, take it easy. Remember, if you win, only then will all of us win. I'll hang up now. Call me if anything comes up." Hung up the phone. The words friend and trust weighed on my heart like two heavy boulders. Cannot lose. Not just because of my hotel, but also for Su Wan's future and her silent faith. I returned to the construction site. Zhang Daxian and the workers were anxiously waiting. When they saw me, they all asked with concern, "Ah Ching, what did China Southern say?" I tucked away all my emotions, put on a smile, and said they were very satisfied. They will sign a letter of intent with us. Cheers erupted across the site. "That's great. All the hard work these past few days has finally paid off." Looking at their honest smiles, I announced on the spot, "All workers involved in the rush job this month will get double pay, and a red envelope of 1,000 yuan for every airport worker who came to help." The next day, Shinemo transferred the 1 million investment into my account. At the same time, China Southern's legal department sent over a scanned copy of the signed letter of intent, with China Southern's official endorsement. Those rumors about my mysterious background and illegal construction were shattered. Then I called Director Qin. "Director Qin, I want to hold a press conference under the name of the Airport Command Center." Director Qin paused and asked, "A press conference about what?" I explained immediately, "The official debut of Cloud Hotel, and our tripartite cooperation vision with the airport and China Southern. I want to invite reporters from all major media outlets in the city, and even the province, to explain the whole story of building the hotel in front of everyone, and also make public the letter of intent from China Southern and all legal permits, for everyone to see." Director Qin immediately understood my intention. "You want to use their own strength against them, completely reverse public opinion." I answered word for word, "Yes. I don't want to play hide and seek with them anymore. I'm going to lay all my cards on the table. Since they want me to become famous, then I'll become a thoroughly infamous beast." On the other end of the phone, he pondered for a long time. This is also a risk for him. Once any mistake happens at the press conference, he will also bear responsibility. Finally, he made up his mind and said, "Okay, I support you. The airport project needs a partner like you. The development of Anningtown also needs this kind of vitality. As for the journalists, I'll arrange the venue. Use the conference room of the airport command center. Set the time for the press release 3 days from now. Let's fight a great comeback together." 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Chincho has a wide network of contacts. He managed to invite almost every notable media outlet in the city. At 10 in the morning, the press conference officially began. I took a deep breath and walked up to the podium. Dear friends from the media, distinguished guests, hello everyone. My name is Fu Qing. I am the founder of Cloud Hotel. I know there have been many rumors online recently about me and this hotel. Some say I'm mysterious. Some say the source of my funds is unclear. And others say this building is a tumor next to the airport. Standing here today, I want to tell everyone that none of this is true. I'm just an ordinary boy from Anningtown. My parents passed away early and left me this old house when the whole town was being demolished, when only my house was left outside the red line. I did not cry or make a fuss. I just felt that fate had left me here. There must be a reason for it. I took out all the inheritance my parents left and borrowed 300,000 from the bank. I managed to scrape together 500,000 in starting capital. I tore it down and rebuilt it. I wanted to turn it from an abandoned old house into a hotel that could serve the new airport. I named it Cloud 9. I hoped it could soar toward the clouds like an airplane, flying toward a higher future. My voice was calm. I wasn't trying to be dramatic. I was stating a fact, a story of how a young man, relying on his own strength, defended his home and chased his dream. The audience gradually fell silent. Many reporters put down their pens. Listening quietly to me, I continued, every penny of my funds is clean. The banker friend who provided my loan is now suffering an unjust accusation because of his professionalism and evidence. I looked at Suwon in the audience. She was sitting in an inconspicuous corner. Her eyes were a little red. Every step of my construction is legal and compliant. The person supervising the engineering quality for me is Director Chin from the Airport Command Center. Director Chin nodded at me. His eyes were full of encouragement. My future is by no means a malignant tumor, because I have already reached a preliminary strategic cooperation with Manager Shin from China Southern Airlines. I turned and pointed to the backdrop behind me, and the letter of intent hanging on the wall. In the future, this place will become the warmest haven for China Southern Airlines crew. As soon as I finished speaking, the entire venue erupted in an uproar. An official partnership with China Southern Airlines was definitely the biggest news of the day. All doubts seemed pale and powerless in the face of this document. I pointed to Secretary Zhao and Foreman Zhang in the front row. They responded openly, I don't have any mysterious background, just a heart that wants to do something for my hometown. What supports me is this land behind me that I love. It is the leaders at all levels who support me. It is the partners who trust me. It is the fellow workers who sweat and bleed with me. Then the press conference entered the Q&A session. A male reporter stood up and asked sharply, Mr. Fu, you just mentioned that your banker friend is being suppressed because of you. As far as I know, recently a company called Huayu Capital is conducting a hostile takeover of the bank where your friend works, and the several self-media outlets that smear you online also have Huayu Capital's fingerprints behind them. Do you consider this a malicious business act targeting you? The spotlight of the entire venue fell on me. After a moment of silence, I responded clearly, there are two kinds of people in this world. One kind sees value and tries to create it, protect it. The other kind only thinks of plundering it, destroying it, and then taking it for themselves. I welcome all creators, but will forever shut the door on those greedy plunderers. I believe that, under the sunlight, all conspiracies and schemes will eventually be exposed. The moment my words ended, thunderous applause erupted throughout the venue. That afternoon, news about the Cloud Hotel swept the front-page headlines of all media in the city. My image transformed from a controversial holdout into a legendary entrepreneurial pioneer, independent and tenacious, an outstanding youth who dares to say no to unjust fate and capital. But on the very day after the press conference ended, trouble came. In the morning, Uncle Zhao rushed to find me, shouting, Aching, something's wrong. The hotel's water supply has been cut off. My heart sank. I asked what happened. Didn't we pay the water bill on time? Uncle Zhao immediately replied that we had paid it, but the town's water plant said, the main pipe in our area needs a week of maintenance. This is the most common dirty trick used by local bullies. Without water, the final renovation work on the hotel would have to completely stop. What's worse, the gas station also couldn't operate normally. I immediately thought of the beast. But before I could call him, an unexpected person came to my door. He introduced himself. My name is Wang Weigua. I was once the chairman of Hongta Group. The name Hongta Group sounded familiar to me. It seemed to be a once very well-known local real estate company in the city. But a few years ago, I heard that due to a capital chain rupture, it went bankrupt overnight. Wang Weigua looked at me with a complicated expression. I came today to tell you something. That Ji Buqing who pushed you to the brink is also the one who used the same methods to ruin me. I immediately realized that this man was not an enemy. He was a natural ally. I asked curiously, Chairman Wang, what exactly happened? Wang Weigua then sank into painful memories. I was developing a large commercial complex. Just like you are now. I invested everything I had. But right when the project was about to be completed, Ji Buqing appeared. Then he showed up like a savior, buying all my shares for less than 30% of their value. Along with that nearly finished project, I went from being a billionaire to a debt-ridden pauper. Wang Weigua's story was so similar to what I was going through. Only his ending was far more tragic than mine. Wang Weigua pulled a thick stack of documents from his briefcase. He said, over the years, I've been collecting evidence of his crimes. Ji Buqing acts ruthlessly, but he is overconfident. Many of his shady deals have left traces. A lot of them were conducted through a shell company registered overseas. He thought no one would know. But the man who helped him pull all those strings back then is now the one I've planted by his side. Here is evidence of his tax evasion and records of his bribery. Any one of these is enough to send him to hell. Looking at that stack of documents, my breathing became rapid. This wasn't just documents. It was clearly a blade that could finish him off. I asked urgently, Chairman Wang, you have all this. Why haven't you reported it? Wang Weigua shook his head bitterly. He replied, it's useless. I tried. But Ji Buqing's network of connections is too strong. A bankrupt old man like me can't stir up any trouble. All the materials I submitted disappeared without a trace. After speaking, he lifted his head. His eyes blazing, he looked at me and said, but you are different. Wait, ID 2056 already done. Let me relist properly. I'll continue from 2064. You have the attention they lack, and the influence they cannot ignore. This knife in my hand is just a piece of scrap metal, but in your hand, it might be able to sever the dragon's head. I took the heavy stack of documents. My hands trembled slightly. I understood. Wang Weigua hadn't come to seek my help. He had come to entrust me with his hope for revenge. Just then, the bastard called me. I already know about your mother's water being cut off. I just spoke with the city leaders. The division chief was very angry and personally intervened in the matter. Don't worry. Within half an hour at most, the water and electricity will be restored. Also, the city's disciplinary inspection team has already entered Anning Town. The first person they will question is Zheng Daxian. I gripped the documents in my hand, listening to the bastard's voice on the phone. My heart a mix of emotions. I knew the time for counterattack had come. I lifted my head, my gaze utterly resolute, and made a solemn promise. I accept this knife. I promise you, justice may be delayed, but it will never be absent. The news spread even faster than the water cutoff notice. Zheng Daxian was called in and interrogated for a full 5 hours. When he came out, his once arrogant official demeanor was completely gone. Half an hour later, clear tap water flowed again from the faucet at my construction site. That evening, I locked myself in the office and went through the materials Wang Weigua had given me, carefully over and over. The crimes spanning several waves were far more shocking than I had imagined. Tax evasion, illegal transfer of assets, bribery, each count enough to put him behind bars for life. But I knew Ji Buqing's foundation was too deep, his network of connections too complex. I had to use a method that left him no room to struggle, nail him down completely with undeniable proof. So I called Su Wan, said, Su Wan, I need you, help me contact someone absolutely reliable and influential enough at the provincial media level. Su Wan immediately understood my intention. She asked, do you want to blow him up? I looked out the window at Zheng Daxian's office building. Pitch black in the night. Answered, no. I'm going to put him on trial. A producer from the provincial TV station's focus tracking program. He was my senior from university. A man of integrity, who hated the corrupt hands in the capital market most. Their program had the highest ratings among all in-depth investigative shows in the province. Anyone they targeted either died or was ruined. I made my decision and chose him. From that thick stack of documents, I pulled out one page. It was a clear record of Ji Buqing manipulating stock prices through an overseas shell company, illegally profiting nearly 100 million yuan. I didn't reveal all my cards. Dealing with an old fox like Ji Buqing meant peeling off his disguise layer by layer, like an onion, making him feel endless torment and fear. I used an encrypted email, sent that document to the focus tracking program team. I didn't sign my name. only wrote one sentence at the end of the email. "This is just the beginning." 2 days later, the provincial TV station's focus tracking aired on schedule. The title of that episode was extremely striking. Dark Secrets Behind Tens of Billions of Capital. Ji Buchang's Hidden Wealth Empire. The program unfolded like a suspense thriller. Using detailed data and anonymous expert interviews, it unraveled the evidence I had provided thread by thread, clearly presenting it to millions of viewers across the province. The host asked in a cold tone, "Why has our capital market become a lawless ATM for some people? Why has our regulatory system? Why would they turn a blind eye to such illegal acts?" I knew Ji Buchang's end had begun. That night, Huayu Capital's official website was crashed by furious shareholders. The next day, Huayu Capital's stock opened with a limit down. Massive sell orders sealed off every escape route like a waterfall. Ji Buchang's phone was ringing off the hook. Questions, insults, announcements of withdrawal of investment, demands to cancel contracts. The business empire he had painstakingly built over many years began to show signs of collapse after just one weekend. And the last straw that broke the camel's back came from Zheng Daqian of Anning Town. Finally unable to bear the pressure, he turned in Ji Buchang, including how he had conspired with Ji Buchang to seize my land, including how many favors he had received from Ji Buchang, and how many shady things he had done for him. The investigation team quickly discovered the Anning Airport Service Company, Ltd., that he had co-founded with Ji Buchang's younger brother. In the end, Zheng Daqian was formally handed over to judicial authorities. That night, the gas station had closed early. The workers had also returned to the dormitories. I stayed in the office because I had to check the accounts for a batch of new decoration materials. Uncle Zhao was worried and stayed with me. Uncle Zhao looked out at the pouring rain and said with concern, "Aching is off today. I'm afraid something is going to happen." I also felt an inexplicable restlessness. Just then, the office door was violently pushed open. A security guard on night duty rushed in and shouted in panic, "Boss Fu, Captain Zhao, it's bad. A group of people have come, all carrying weapons. They're smashing everything in sight and beating anyone they see. We can't stop them." Hearing this, Uncle Zhao jumped up, grabbed the shovel in the corner and cursed, "They really dare to come and die." My heart sank, but quickly calmed down. I instructed Uncle Zhao to call the police. The security guard said tremblingly, "It's too late. It's too late. They smashed all our phones. It looks like they want to destroy the entire construction site." I immediately realized Ji Buchang meant business this time. They weren't street thugs. Their goal was to cause maximum damage, trigger the most severe safety accident. If the site was destroyed or someone died, my hotel project would be completely ruined. I made a snap decision and said, "Uncle Zhao, you take people and guard the gate. Don't fight them head-on. Hold them off. Aching, what about you? I'll go find help." I went outside, heard the harsh sounds of smashing and arrogant cursing coming from the hotel building. A dozen shadows armed with machetes and iron bars were frantically destroying the glass curtain wall I had just installed. Suddenly, a blinding headlight flashed behind me. A black van with no license plates rushed straight at me at high speed. They wanted to run me over. My mind went blank. In the blink of an eye, Foreman Zhang lunged from the side, shoved me out of the way. "Boss, get out of here." Foreman Zhang's body flew through the air like a torn sack. The van didn't stop at all. In the rainy night, I screamed with all my heart, stumbling and crawling to his side. "Brother Zhang." He looked at me weakly, yet he was still smiling at me. Go now." My tears mixed with the rain, blurring my vision. "You can't go. If I leave, what about Uncle Zhao and the others? If I go?" A rage and murderous intent I had never felt before surged wildly from the depths of my heart. My eyes turned as cold as Antarctic ice. I didn't get into my own car. I turned and ran toward the idle bulldozer in the corner of the site. I turned and rushed to the idle bulldozer in the corner of the construction site. Foreman Zhang had already taught me how to operate this big machine. I started it up. The steel beast awakened in the rainy night, letting out a deafening roar. I drove the bulldozer. Slowly, yet with an irresistible pressure, I rolled forward. A thug screamed in terror, "Madman! He's insane!" Everyone was scared out of their wits. They scattered in all directions. I didn't chase them. Just then, a dozen police cars with flashing red and blue lights sliced through the rainy night and screeched to a halt. Zheng Daqian and Su Wan jumped out of the first car. They saw Foreman Zhang lying in a pool of blood. They saw the mess everywhere, and they saw me sitting in the bulldozer's cab. Su Wan ran up to the bulldozer cab. Her voice was trembling. "Aching, are you all right? Come down, quick!" I leaped down from the high cab, crashing heavily into her arms. Su Wan didn't kill me. Su Wan held me tightly. Her voice choked. I know, it's over. It's all over, it's all over. I knew it wasn't over. Between Ji Buchang and me, from tonight onward, it's a fight to the death. Foreman Zhang was taken to the best hospital in the city. The doctor said he had lost a lot of blood, and his left leg was fractured. He needed surgery immediately, but his life was not in danger. I waited in the hospital corridor. The image of Foreman Zhang being knocked flying kept replaying in my mind. Su Wan took off her coat and draped it over me. Zhang Daxian stood aside, making phone calls non-stop, silent. The manager also knew. He used his connections with China Southern Airlines to pressure Shengli, demanding a thorough investigation and severe punishment without leniency. Ji Buchang's heavy blow may have cost me dearly, but it also completely shattered all the rules and understandings. He had pushed himself to stand against everyone. The police launched an operation overnight. He was quickly captured at various exits out of the city. The unmarked van that hit Foreman Zhang was also found in an abandoned quarry. The interrogation went unusually smoothly, faced with solid evidence and immense pressure. These desperate men soon gave up their employer. It was Ji Buchang's most trusted assistant, also the one who carried out all his dirty work. When the police came knocking, that assistant chose to commit suicide out of guilt. He thought he could slip away like a cicada shedding its shell. He underestimated me, and also underestimated the materials Wang Weiguo gave me. I walked up to Su Wan and the Beast and said, "Su Wan, help me contact that producer from Focus Tracking." The next morning, I made 2 copies of the complete materials Wang Weiguo gave me. 1 copy I personally handed over to the provincial TV station's Focus Tracking program. Immediately after, the Focus Tracking team spent a week producing a record-breaking 1-hour special. Having lost all protection, the tax authorities, the Securities Regulatory Commission, and the public security agencies swarmed in. All of Ji Buchang's assets were frozen. Huayu Capital was completely shut down. A capital empire that once dominated collapsed in just a few days, turning to dust. After the dust settled, everyone who had helped me came. I looked at the Anning International Airport, now officially operational, bustling with activity. I didn't give any passionate speech, just bowed deeply. Thank you all. Above the clouds, both mine and yours, is the top floor of the hotel. Still that observation terrace. But now, it had become the most expensive and beautiful scenery in all of Anning Town. Su Wan walked over, handed me a glass of champagne, smiled and teased. "You look like a successful man now. Aching, you know. What you've done is more than just building a hotel. You've changed this place, and changed many people." I smiled, looking at my hotel, bright with lights, full of guests. I knew that abandoned orphan had finally found his home. It was a middle-aged cadre sent down from the city, named Zhao Fuming, as a representative of young entrepreneurs. I attended the Future Development Planning Seminar for Anning Town. The meeting lasted an entire morning. Zhao Fuming did not hold back his praise for me during the meeting. President Fu's Cloud Hotel has set a great example for us. It proves that on the land of Anning Town, as long as you have vision and guts, you can definitely grow world-class fruits. All our future plans must measure up to the Cloud Hotel. We must turn this place into a hotbed for attracting investment, a home where all talents are willing to stay. At the end of the meeting, Zhao Fuming shook my hand and said sincerely, "President Fu, in the past, the town let you down. In the future, the town needs your guidance. If there's anything you need help with, feel free to speak up. We will fully support you." Seeing the sparkle in his eyes, I knew the spring of Anning Town had truly arrived. The hotel's business was booming. Besides China Southern, crews from other airlines also began to come by reputation, seeking cooperation. Various business meetings and industry forums also chose to be held in my hotel. Going to the Cloud for meetings became a new trend in the city's business circle. And the gas station I built with my own hands was not forgotten. I upgraded and renovated it, turning it into a semi-open food court. It still maintained affordable prices and that local ambience, becoming the favorite late-night spot for airport ground staff and nearby residents. Uncle Zhao was officially hired as the director of the hotel's engineering department, responsible for the maintenance and management of all facilities. They became the technical backbone in various positions. Each of them wore brand new uniforms, becoming formal employees of a 5-star hotel. Wang Weiguo also came to see me. As soon as we met, he bowed deeply to me. "Thank you, Boss Fu. You gave me a second chance." I quickly helped him up. "Uncle Wang, you're too kind. I just did what I had to do. It was the knife you gave me that allowed me to cut through the darkness." He told me he planned to use the money he got back to set up a legal aid fund, specifically to help entrepreneurs like him and me, who had been bullied by capital. He patted me on the shoulder and said with relief, "I can't fight them anymore, but from now on, this world is yours." I saw him out of the hotel, watching his back no longer hunched, now straight again, disappear into the crowd. I knew an old era had ended. The hotel's operations were running smoothly in every way. I finally had some time to myself. The first thing I did was transfer Foreman Zhang from a regular ward to the city hospital's best VIP rehabilitation center. I would cover all the expenses. When I went to see him, he was lying in the hospital bed. Seeing me arrive, he was so excited he almost sat up. He said, "Boss Fu, what are you doing here? This little injury of mine isn't worth you making a special trip." I placed a bouquet of flowers on his bedside table and said, "Brother Zhang, this is no small injury. You were risking your life for me." The doctor said, "Your leg is recovering well, but it still needs a long period of rehabilitation. Just rest easy here. Don't worry about anything. Your salary will keep coming and the medical bills, I'll cover everything." This northerner, who never complained about hardship, now choked up like a child and said, "Boss Fu, I, old Zhang, am more than satisfied." I patted him on the shoulder, said that from now on, I would be the one protecting our home. After leaving the hospital, I received a call from Su Wan. The cloud hotel loan project Su Wan was handling had earned great fame at the head office. Not only was she not punished, but she was instead given an extraordinary promotion. She became the youngest branch manager in the bank's history. She said with a smile over the phone, "Mr. Fu, are you free tonight? I'd like to treat you to dinner. Where would you like to go?" "Right in your presidential suite at the Cloud Hotel." That evening, the kitchen prepared the most exquisite dinner, delivered to the presidential suite on the top floor. That was the room I had reserved exclusively for Su Wan, never open to the public. From the suite's terrace, you could overlook the entire nightscape of Airport New City. When Su Wan saw me arrive, she smiled and said, "Your view is still the best." I smiled and replied, "Well, look whose turf it is." We didn't talk about work, nor about those thrilling past events. We were just like two old friends who hadn't seen each other in a long time, sipping tea, chatting about trivial matters. Suddenly, she looked at me seriously and said, "Ah Qing, do you still remember? When you decided to build the hotel, I told you, when it opens, you have to give me a lifetime free presidential suite." I nodded upon hearing this. Now I've kept that promise. Su Wan gave a self-deprecating smile and said, "Actually, I was joking at the time. Back then, I thought you were crazy. Opening a hotel with 500,000 yuan on the ruins where everyone else was fleeing. I never believed you could succeed. I helped you only because I didn't want to see you lose too badly. I even prepared to help cover some of your losses." I listened quietly, saying nothing. She continued, "You turned an impossible dream into reality. You're far more impressive than I imagined." She stood up and walked over to me. "So today, I want to change my request. I don't want your presidential suite anymore." I lifted my head and looked at her face, so close, my heartbeat quickening a little. "Then what do you want?" She didn't answer, just slowly gave me a kiss. Then she held me, her voice trembling with a hint of hoarseness, and said, "Aching, I want you, the person." My tears fell again without any warning. I smiled and nodded firmly, and said, "Okay." That night we talked a lot about our plans for the future. It was also the second anniversary celebration of Cloud Hotel. Business elites, and government officials and local leaders all gathered together. I was wearing a custom-tailored black suit, holding Su Wan's hand, standing at the entrance of the banquet hall, welcoming every arriving guest. Su Wan had officially resigned from the bank and become the CEO of Cloud Group. She handled all the complex business matters for me, so I could focus more on the group's strategic development. Qinshou also came. He was now the director of the Airport New City Management Committee, the undisputed top leader of this new city. He smiled when he saw me. "Deputy Mayor, you're now the biggest money god in our new city." Chen Mo also flew in specially from Guangzhou. He was now the vice president of China Southern Airlines. As soon as he saw me, he gave me a warm hug. "Fucking the best investment I ever made in my life was the 1 million I invested in you on that rooftop 2 years ago." Uncle Zhao and Foreman Zhang were also standing behind me. One was the director of the engineering department, the other the director of the security department. After the banquet began. 2 years ago, I stood here. Beneath my feet was still a pile of rubble. I thought I had been abandoned by the whole world. But today I stand here. Beneath my feet is the most prosperous heart of the entire Airport New City. What I want to say is, it's never about which side of the line we're drawn on that determines our worth. It's about where we choose to redraw our own starting line. The world may abandon you. You can choose to win the world back. My speech was very short, yet it won the warmest applause from the entire audience. The banquet wasn't over yet. I grabbed Suwon's hand and quietly sneaked out. We changed into casual clothes, like two ordinary lovers walking in the park. Children were laughing and playing in the park. Elderly people were walking and exercising. I saw a familiar figure. Aunt Lee was taking her little grandson to play on the slide. She saw me too, with an awkward and uneasy expression. You're really a big boss now. Back then, I was a bit loose-tongued. Don't take it to heart. I shook my head indifferently. It's all in the past. Just then, her little grandson ran over. Looking at me curiously, Aunt Lee quickly said, "This is the pride of our new town. He's the deputy manager of the Cloud Hotel. When you grow up, you should be as successful as Uncle Fu." I smiled, took a candy from my pocket and handed it to the child. We continued walking forward, arriving at the old site where my family used to live. Now it has become part of the hotel. A beautiful open-air garden. Suwon and I sat cuddled on a bench in the garden. In the distance, a huge passenger plane was slowly landing on the runway. Lights streaked across the night sky like shooting stars. Suwon suddenly asked, "Aching, have you ever regretted it?" Looking at the plane landing steadily. Looking at the myriad lights in the distance. Looking at the loved one beside me. I said softly, "I have never regretted it."